Hey, what's up, everybody? VC here, coming at you with another video about anything and everything. Nothing's off the table. And you can find me here on Rumble or on YouTube. Either way, it's all game, I welcome everybody to be part of the content experience that I bring. And I'm all about it. So it's just common sense, basically. So with that, I thought we'd kick it off Monday today with just kicking it off with, let's talk about the Democrat clown show going on, alright? So, some things that are happening that are eye-opening, and it's just a Democrat clown show. So, let's look at some of the stuff that's been going on in the last couple days here. Let me see, where do I begin? Let's take a look at this over here that just came up. All right.
Protests are raging right now in New York.
So here's that Khalil dude. He was one of the big organizers and big front man for protesting for Hamas, which is considered a terrorist organization by the federal government. And Hamas also was the one behind attacks on Israel back in like 2023, where they attacked at a concert and took hostages, killed a lot of people, and it went from there, right? Because they are representative of the Palestinians in Gaza. They represent the leadership because Palestinians really have no true leaders to really protect them, to be their people, right? They're just kind of a outcast of people that just live there in Israel, right? And so Hamas is this kind of like this terrorist militant organization that's really took Palestine by storm and really just, decided they're going to take it upon themselves to attack Israel, a heavyweight. And so that's what happened, right, a couple years ago. And then there's protesters because, in my opinion, is Israel should just go ahead, take care of business, and take out Hamas. But the Democrats were always about, they played both sides. They were playing about free Gaza and protect Palestinians, but at the same time, oh, we are supportive of Israel because we're allies. And it's like, well, you can't have it both ways. I understand about what's going on with the Palestinians, right? But Hamas is Hamas, and they need to be taken out because they are a threat in the area and a threat to Israel, right? And to a broader extent, Iran has a militant organization with Hezbollah, which is similar to Hamas, that has continued to do attacks on Israel as well. So, it's just trying to keep these militant organizations at bay. So I think you got to do what you got to do and take them out. But the Biden administration was like, oh, free Gaza, and wouldn't really, like I said, they play both sides, and you can't play it both sides. So let's take a look here. And this guy was a big time demonstrator and organizer of these protests on college campuses, and about free Gaza, and they support Hamas, and they were very, very militant. They were very, very anti-Semitic. And if you look at, supposedly they're true spirited Democrats, they're just speaking freedom of speech and all this bullshit. um they wouldn't be anti-Semitic, violent, trash trashing places, breaking things, making lives harder on people, right? They wouldn't have done that. All right, and that's what Democrats typically do anyway. So with that, he got rounded up and arrested because he was pretty much the front man for this stuff. And at the same time, you're a guest in the country. I don't care if you have a student visa. I don't care if you have a work visa. I don't care if you have some sort of green card. Doesn't mean jack shit. You're still a guest in the country. And if you do these things to create an uprise, then you're deported. You're out of here. Obviously, that's what he did. So there was this, he got arrested, but there was some battle about whether or not he could be arrested and deported or not. So now the protest after an NYC judge rules pro-Hamas activists can be deported. So let's take a look at this.
New York City, after a judge ruled yesterday that pro-Hamas activist Mahmoud Khalil could be deported by the Trump
all right, so remember that. Pro-Hamas, that's pro-militant, all right?
Administration. The post-grad student was labeled a national security risk after he led anti-Israel riots on Columbia's campus last year. Now, this is a major legal win for President Trump as he continues his battle against anti-Semitism on college campuses, while Khalil's lawyers say that they plan to appeal the ruling. Watch.
We are taking a stand on behalf of Mahmoud, and he is taking a stand. He's decided to stay in jail and fight this case to the bitter end while we try to establish that people like Mahmoud have a constitutional right to speak out in this country.
But Secretary of State Marco Rubio disagrees.
If you are in this country to promote Hamas, to promote terrorist organizations, to participate in vandalism, to participate in acts of rebellion and riots on campus, we never would have let you in if we had known that. And now that we know it, you're going to leave. He's going to leave, and so are others, and we're going to keep doing it.
Yeah, you're a fucking guest, so fuck
Fox
you.
News correspondent CB Cotton is live in Times Square with the latest on the protest. You know, CB, take us through, what are you seeing right now on the ground? Take us through what you've seen today.
Look at these morons protesting.
Hey, Lisa, well, this iconic part of the city has seen a slew of anti-Israel protests since the start of the war in Gaza. But now we can expect Mahmoud Khalil to become a focal point of these demonstrations. You can see here people carrying signs with his face calling for his release. And as we've been talking about, this all comes after that immigration judge ruled the government can move forward with its efforts to deport the green card holder. Yesterday, that judge affirming a memo by Secretary of State Marco Rubio where he said that Khalil's beliefs threaten national security. Now, Khalil's attorneys pushed back on that in court and said their client is being targeted for constitutionally protected free speech. But the immigration judge said Rubio's memo alone made the Columbia graduate deportable. After that ruling, Khalil's attorneys slammed the judge and the entire court proceeding. Listen to this.
It was the epitome of the lack of due process in a court proceeding in this country.
When you do this shit, right, as a guest, this due process shit that all these people cry about, whether it's that supposedly the dude from Maryland that was mistakenly deported and they want him back and blah, 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 fuck that shit, all right? If you are doing illegal activities, that due process shit goes out the window. You guys are fucking out of here. All right? So fuck you guys.
The immigration judge had made up her mind before the hearing even started what she was going to do.
On the other hand, the Trump administration is calling this ruling a win, and former federal prosecutor Andrew Cherkasky said the ruling proves one thing.
It exposes one of the biggest lies in the Biden administration, that Joe Biden repeatedly said that because Congress didn't pass laws, he was left helpless to protect the borders. No, it always has been and always will be the executive's function to protect the borders and to control immigration.
Exactly. I talked about it the other day when Biden was saying, oh, you know, we can't do nothing until we have comprehensive reform. My hands are tied. We can't do nothing about the border, you know, and so he let it be, but yet when Trump came into office and put in executive orders, well, actually, even before that, Biden still put in executive orders to minimize border entries, which he later on touted during campaign season about how border crossings have been down as lowest for, compared to the last couple of years. And it's like, well, duh, because you opened it up and it's easy just to close it with executive orders. All right. But he was trying to push for reform when it wasn't the right time to push the reform, because you've already allowed tens of millions of people to come in already. So yeah, it was just funny how Biden was so full of shit.
So Khalil's legal team now has until April 23rd to file applications for relief to try to stop any potential deportation. Back to you.
Fuck that, man. Deport his ass.
Hey, CB, you've been with the crowd, it seems like, for a few minutes. You're walking with them now. Can you explain to us, give us a feel for what that crowd is, the demeanor? Are there any counter-protesters? About how many are there?
I would say there are about 150 people right now here, Joey. They are very, very upset after the judge's ruling yesterday.
These guys are morons.
Many people out here saying that they feel what is
Pro-Hamas.
taking place in Gaza is a genocide. They're calling the United States complicit in that. And they're also slamming the Trump administration, saying it's going after students, targeting free speech. We have seen a few counter-protesters, some waving Trump flags and saying that this is the United States and that our national security interest has to be put first. I will say that the crowd of anti-Israel protesters far outweighs the counter-demonstrations out here.
Hey, CB, it's Alicia. I know there's this one court battle that we've been talking about, but he also has a separate legal battle in New Jersey. Can you tell us about that?
So, yeah, that separate case in federal court in New Jersey is with Khalil's legal team asking a judge to rule on their claim that Khalil's First Amendment rights were violated with his arrest and detention. Those attorneys are also asking to
Fuck
secure
those
his
attorneys,
release,
man. These guys
so
are
the Columbia graduate can be with his
advocating
wife, who is expecting
for
their first child this month. So a lot more
Get
to
outta
watch
here, man.
for in that federal court case in New Jersey.
Well, CB, we know that Khalil is a Columbia University graduate. How's the campus responding to all of this?
So in addition to protests that we're seeing here in this city, there have also been several protests over on the campus. Within the past month, we saw a group of Columbia graduates arrive on campus and rip up their diplomas, denouncing the school and denouncing the school administrators.
People are stupid.
We also saw a couple weeks ago students who chained themselves to a fence over on that campus. So there's a lot of outrage. Several student groups are very upset.
Stupid,
and these groups are saying they're not going to stop until Mahmoud Khalil is released. But as we've heard from Secretary of State Marco Rubio several times about this case, the administration's stance is that having a student visa or having a green card
You're just
is
a
a
guest.
privilege
Yep.
and not a right.
Exactly.
Interesting. And CB, what's the timeline on the New Jersey case?
So yesterday, the judge in New Jersey said that he wanted
These guys can't be out of here fast enough.
The government and Khalil's legal team about the immigration case. So the next steps for what happens with the New Jersey case are not quite clear
This is
yet,
what I'm talking about.
but
Clown
that judge
show.
did ask for a briefing about the Louisiana proceedings.
Clown show.
CB Khan, great reporting as always. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks, y'all.
Why is Amazon?
Yeah. So there you go. I'm going to segue out of this. But yeah, so that's what I'm talking about. Clowns, all right? Deported him. He's done. He's over, all right? Let's see here. Carl DeMaio, I think he's a representative out of San Diego. I think that's what he always referred to himself as in his position in California government. So he seeks an audit to end taxpayer and Medi-Cal payouts for illegal immigrants. Well, yeah, because, it's no secret that Newsom, the governor, is allowing illegals to get everything, right? When it comes to access to money, food, housing, a free ride of everything, even Medi-Cal, which is the California medical insurance. Kind of like Medicare is federal, this is Medi-Cal is for state, right? So why are we paying for illegals again? If I could ask the question, why are we? I don't get it. And what he's doing, not he, but Newsom's doing with Medi-Cal is that he would just disperse the money and expect reimbursement from the federal government. And it's like, no, you can't expect jack shit. All right? This tomfoolery needs to end. And so this is just bringing attention to that. So good for Carl DeMaio here for bringing that attention, because, yeah, this stuff needs to stop. I mean, like, why are we giving it to illegals, right? Why are we paying for illegals? And even Gavin Newsom had to borrow, like, I think it was $9 billion or something like that to cover the cost for illegals on Medi-Cal, for Medi-Cal, Medicare, health insurance, basically, for illegals. And it's like, why? Why are we doing this, right? And no one's even, like, really questioning Gavin Newsom as a whole, except for Republicans, obviously, but overall, and everything's been kind of quiet about it, and it's just moronic coming from Newsom, you know. It's stupid, and enough is enough, you know. It's just crap. All right, it doesn't make any sense. So yeah, this stuff needs to end, right? Yeah, so even Gavin Newsom can't get out of here fast enough, man, because he's garbage. All right, so yeah, hopefully it does end. All right, let's hear what Carl has to say here. Short little 3-minute thing here. Let's take a look.
Republican lawmakers want an audit of Medi-Cal. Eitan Wallace explains more on the concerns they're raising.
Governor Newsom has lied to the public.
Republican Assemblymember Carl DeMaio leveling that accusation against Governor Gavin Newsom, specifically about Newsom's policy to expand publicly funded health care services to undocumented Californians. It's a policy DeMaio says California cannot afford.
This puts the health coverage for poor people, children, the neediest among us at risk. Why? Because we've given away the store to non-citizens. We've given illegal immigrants free health care at taxpayers' expense.
DeMaio's accusations come after the Newsom administration announced in this memo last month the state does not have enough money to fund Medi-Cal, California's publicly funded health care program, financed both by the state and federal governments. The program helps pay medical services for more than 14 million low-income Californians. In the memo, the Newsom administration said it had no choice but to take out loans to ensure it could pay off its Medi-Cal bills. The administration saying the first loan, $3.4 billion, ensured that the state could fund Medi-Cal through March. The second loan, worth $2.8 billion, ensured that the state could continue paying Medi-Cal bills through June. DeMaio believes Medi-Cal's financial issues are a direct result of the governor's decision last year to expand its coverage to include undocumented Californians. Originally, the Newsom administration estimated doing so would cost the state about $6 billion, but now they estimate it will cost closer to $9.5 billion.
The reality is our fiscal house is on the brink of collapse.
Now, DeMaio and his Assembly Republican colleagues want the state to launch a formal audit to answer why Medi-Cal ran out of funds. For his part, Governor Newsom last month defended his policy expanding Medi-Cal health coverage to undocumented Californians.
It was something we said we were going to do. I believe in universal health care. Been consistent going back to my days as mayor. We're the first city in the country to advance it. And it's just a core principle.
Clerk will open the roll.
Fuck you, man.
Beyond the audit requests on the Assembly floor Thursday, DeMaio attempted
universal health care in terms of low income, homeless, veterans, young, old, that type of stuff. But then to lump in illegals, that's a whole new animal to lump in as part of this universal health care access when they don't belong here in the first place. Because you're giving away access that could be going to those very people I just addressed, but instead you're giving it to illegals. Almost like they get put in front of the line. Nah. All right? That's garbage.
Totally blocked taxpayer dollars from funding health care for undocumented Californians.
With Medi-Cal on the brink of financial insolvency, we have to immediately take action.
But his efforts fell short by a party line vote. Motion fails. Democrats, meantime, acknowledged Medi-Cal is dealing with financial issues, but argued covering undocumented Californians will actually save the state money by providing preemptive care instead of costly emergency care picked up by taxpayers.
This coverage will get people into.
So they're saying it's a good idea because it's proactive care, preemptive care versus emergency care. Because, of course, emergency care costs more. But let's think about it like this. We wouldn't have this problem if we didn't have the border open, all right? If you don't allow the border to be open, because this is California now, we're not talking about Texas, Arizona, all that stuff, because California allows the border to be open. If we didn't have the border open in California to allow them in, we wouldn't have this problem. I don't care if it's preemptive care, I don't care if it's emergency care. We wouldn't have this problem with dealing with illegals, one, and then two, giving them insurance on the house. It don't make any sense.
A clinic rather than showing up at the hospital at late stages of a disease. And the talking point that covering undocumented immigrants is going to increase our healthcare costs.
It will.
Complete BS.
And as for the audit request, it will now be up to the Joint Legislative Audit Committee here at the state capitol to either deny.
You think when Obamacare implemented that insurance cost just stayed okay and everybody had universal access? No, it went up like crazy. All right.
Or approve it.
So screw
Reporting
that shit.
at the state capitol, Eitan Wallace,
Fuck
Fox 5
bitch.
News.
You already
screw that shit, man. That bitch is a dumbass. This is funny right here. Dirt bikes have become a nuisance now. You know what this is? This is spilling over from Oakland, all right? Because Oakland's just a straight up trash
disruptive
town.
and all.
The dirt bikes, the four-wheelers, all that stuff taking over Oakland, right? Because they got nothing going on in Oakland. No police presence. It's just a graffitied, worn down, trashed up dump that just needs to be bulldozed. And now it's spilling over to San Francisco because they defund crime and defund police. Well, they allow crime, defund police, all that stuff. And this is the repercussions of progressive liberal policies in play. All right, so here we go.
All too common. In fact, in the 2 hours that we've been here near Union Square, we actually did see one of those illegal motorcycle stunt shows roll right up Powell Street here. So this is one of those things that the supervisor said is why he's creating this legislation. He says there's already legislation on the books right now for sideshows that now needs to be adapted for these motorcycle stunt shows.
Let's see it. Oh yeah, this is spilling over from Oakland.
Motorcycle shows roll through the streets of San Francisco weekly, and residents have noticed.
Part of it is really creative, the way they ride the bikes, but the other part is really disruptive because you feel unsafe. They don't stop at the stop signs. They don't stop at the street lights. It's a coordinated effort pretty much not to follow the street rules and laws.
The shows often include a dozen or more motorcycles, ATVs, and other motorized vehicles taking over streets in the city.
Oakland.
It's something that has been flagged to me almost every single week because it's happening on a weekly basis now.
Supervisor Danny Sauter said trying to arrest the participants in the moment can escalate an already dangerous situation. He's working on crafting new legislation to crack down on the illegal shows.
Legislatively, we're looking at increasing penalties for actually organizing these events. A lot of these have become spectator sports where they're being organized, they're being promoted on social media.
San Francisco police said they are monitoring the shows and cracking down, and said following 3 incidents in March and April, officers have cited 5 suspects in impounded vehicles. The department said it's using the latest technology from the Real-Time Investigation Center to track down offenders. Supervisor Sauter said he will be working closely with police to craft his legislation to modify anti-sideshow laws already on the books.
But we've seen that.
San Francisco's trash, man. It's gone down the drain just like Oakland has.
That behavior change. We've seen it really go to these stunt bikes and these dirt bikes, and now the legislation needs to change to be adaptive and responsive as well.
Those who've witnessed the impromptu shows welcome any crackdown.
They've gone down the tubes.
Yeah, I do. I think, anything that'll keep the city safe is...
man, San Francisco's just trash, man. It's sad, man. I did a video about San Francisco about how they just let themselves go, and this is another example of how San Francisco has let itself go. When it used to be a prestigious city, where it was an honor and privilege just to even go to San Francisco at the time, because the glitz, the glamour, it's San Francisco. Oh my gosh, it's the city, right? But these days, man, this is just a spillover from Oakland. Because all it is Oakland's trash. All you do is cross the bridge and you're in San Francisco. And look at it. I mean, this is just trash. Liberal, progressive bullshit. That this is an example of what happens when you have liberal progressives running the cities. Oakland has gone down the tubes because they got nobody running it now since Shane Tao got, packed up and left, pushed out of office. And then you look at now SF, yeah, they got new mayor, but nothing's changed, right? Nothing's changed. They're still soft on crime. They're still defunding police. And this is what you get, right? All these liberal cities, this is what you get, all right? Lawlessness, bullshit, overspending, and no solutions. It's sad.
It's a positive.
Reminds me of Oakland right here.
Police have stressed that these illegal processions and shows are dangerous to participants and the broader public. The supervisor hopes to have his legislation ready within a month or two and expects a lot of support from his supervisors. Again, guys, to give you a sense of just how common these shows are, literally, while we were talking here, while our story was rolling, our pre-recorded element was rolling, one of those motorcycle shows rolled right past me again here on Powell. 3 got people on motorcycles going up the hill, 2 men, 1 woman doing wheelies, and then rolled off into the distance here. It's
funny, man. This is a complete unraveling of the Bay Area. The liberal progressive Bay Area is funny as hell. But hey, this is what you get, all right? Clown show, I'm just saying. Here's another clown show right here. All right, as Bernie Sanders and AOC fight oligarchy, right? Where they are the oligarchs, right?
Look at this insanely large crowd.
Let me pull this back. Oh, this is not it. Oh, that's not it. Ah, shit, where's it at? There we go.
Look at this insanely large crowd in downtown Los Angeles today, all to hear a message delivered by Senator
They are the
Sanders
oligarchs.
and Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. It is our top story tonight. Welcome to the Fox 7 Weekend News at 5. Their supporters called it a revolution. Thousands of them were there for hours in the heat to be part of this national movement that's picking up steam. Fox 11's Matthew Seedorf live at Gloria Molina Grand Park right across from City Hall. Matthew, what can you tell us about this event?
Well, it was massive and it was hot, as you mentioned. Right now they're cleaning up, but I got to tell you, these crowds, they stretched all the way to City Hall, up on the stairs, and then they wrapped all the way as far as the eye could see to the south. It's hard to believe it's not a presidential election year. A sea of people shoulder to shoulder outside LA's City Hall. The largest crowd so far for New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
There are people a half a mile away.
And Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders here on their nationwide tour called Fight Oligarchy.
Retire. Chill out at home.
Oligarchy, Los Angeles. We're fighting a president who undermines our Constitution every day.
Both Sanders and AOC targeting President Donald Trump.
A few days ago, ICE officials attempted to enter 2 LAUSD schools to target kids,
highlighting the president's immigration policies.
He is illegally abolishing agencies that Congress created.
And work by Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency.
The oligarchy will concede nothing.
at a time where the leader of the Democratic Party is in question.
Retire,
There's about 40,000 people here supporting AOC and Sanders. Who do you think that leader is right now?
The only one it could be is Bernie Sanders.
We are moving in the direction of oligarchy.
Elon Musk tweeting this video ahead of the rally with clips of Sanders discussing threats of oligarchy more than 30 years ago.
Well, Elon, you're damn right. That's what I've been talking about.
What does fight oligarchy mean to you?
It means like fight the system and fight the systems that are oppressing us.
I don't think America should be bought and sold by people who are running the country with greed on the mind.
That sounds like the Biden administration.
The New York Congresswoman and Vermont Senator leaving L.A. with this message.
We're going to sing and dance our way to victory against hatred and divisiveness.
Clown show.
The heat causing some real problems out here today. You think about the massive crowd, people standing up in the sun for hours, shoulder to shoulder. There were probably 3, 4, maybe even 5 times where AOC and Senator Sanders both had to stop and call medics to certain sections of the crowd. It was just that crowded out here today.
Whatever. Clown show. Let's see here. Oligarchy and democracy both can't work together. Thank you all for your time and efforts and patience. Bless everyone. Okay. Who needs Coachella? We have to fight oligarchy. Let's see here. People were just talking about they were there, pretty much. Yeah, so, whatever, right? Clown show to me. So, what else we got going on here? Street takeover disruption in East Gardena. That's in LA area. Funny stuff. Alright, anyhow, I think that's enough for me, alright? It's just clown show after clown show happening for Democrats here. And it's funny stuff overall. Look at this one. Stephanopoulos described Biden as heartbreaking up close. Book says. Yeah, all these books are coming out now about how Biden was. And it's like, and nobody wanted to talk about it while he was in office. But after a fact, there was all these bad things really about Biden that if it came to light, he might have been, pushed aside and be like, all right, let's let someone else that's more competent to take over and run. But yeah, so, it's just, it goes on and on. Clown show, clown show, clown show. Thought a good way to start off today. And so, that's what we got going on. Let me see if there's anything else I missed here. Alright, I'm just gonna double check here. Kamala behind closed doors, very moronic. This is what happens in dictatorships. Come on now. Is Trump being a dictator, really? Like, really? Think about it. How many times they try to call him being a dictator? Alright, so, yeah, whatever. This is full of shit. But I'm all for pushing out illegals and deporting people that are not taking America first. And it's deservingly so. Alright. So with that, and then sideshows, all this stuff, it's funny stuff. But other than that, comment down below, let me know what you think. Subscribe to YouTube or follow me on Rumble. Thanks, I'll see you next one.